Okay, we're going to do some proportion and unit conversion review problems here. And the first problem we're going to look at is the proportion 20 over 3 equal 28 over 4.2 true? Now, a way to show whether it's true or false is, are the cross products equal? If they're equal, then it is a true proportion. So we multiply 20 by 4.2 and 3 by 28. And when we multiply the two cross products, we get 84 and 84. So yes, it is true. We use that principle to solve this proportion 5 over x equals 2 over 24, where x is an unknown. Since the cross products have to be equal, 2 times x has to equal 5 times 24. And then we have 2x equals, or 2 times x equals 120. 2 times what is 120? Well, we can find that out by dividing 120 by 2, which we can do that in our head, 60. So x equals 60. Now we extend that principle one step further to doing application problems like the following. A recipe for 8 requires 3½ cups of flour. How much flour will a recipe for 14 require? Our first step here is to write the proportion that represents the situation, and we'll let x equal what we're looking for. So our proportion here is 3½ cups flour per 8 people equals x cups flour per 14 people. Now you could have that reversed. You could have this 8 people per 3½ cups flour equals 14 people per x cups of flour. As long as you reverse both of these fractions, that will also work. The units have to be the same on the left and the right as we do this. So now we just cross multiply and divide like we did in the previous problem. So we take 3½ times 14, that cross product equals 8 times x, the other cross product. Now for 3½ we can use 3.5 as our decimal equivalent, times 14 equals 8 times x. 3.5 times 14 is 49. So 49 equals 8 times x. X is 49 divided by 8, or 6 1/8 cups of flour. And if we did this in decimal form, 6.125 cups of flour. But really, the mixed number is a better answer here. If you're using measuring cups, hopefully you have a measuring cup that measures eighths, but if not, you can kind of estimate. An eighth is half of a fourth. Okay, let's move on to some conversion problems. Convert 7 gallons to liters, given 1 gallon equals 3.79 liters. Now the way we do this is we write what we're given as a fraction, 7 gallons over 1, and then we multiply by a unit ratio that will cancel the gallons out and leave liters as our answer. So we would have 1 gallon in the denominator. That equals 3.79 liters. So we're multiplying by 3.79 liters per 1 gallon. So what happens here is the gallon units cancel, leaving liters. So now we just multiply the numbers, 7 times 3.79 over 1, and that's our answer. So we end up with 26.53 liters. Now as you do these problems, you should kind of check the reasonableness of the answer. There's 4 quarts in a gallon. 7 gallons would be 28 quarts. A liter is fairly close to a quart. It's just a little bit bigger than a quart. So you should get an answer around 28, which we do. We get a little bit less than 28, 26.53. In our next problem, we're going to convert 90 miles an hour to kilometers per hour. And it's given kph in miles per hour, mph. So we start this by writing what's given as a fraction. And here it's going to be 90 miles per 1 hour. So that's what we write down. So there's our given information as a fraction. Now we have to multiply by a unit ratio that will cancel out miles and leave us with kilometers in the numerator, which means the miles has to go down in the denominator. We have 0.62 miles per 1 kilometer. So that's our unit ratio multiplier, and that cancels out the miles, and it leaves kilometers per hour. So now we have to multiply the numerator numbers and the denominator numbers together and get our answer. So we have 90 times 1 over 1 times 0.62, and the units are kilometers per hour. So that simplifies to 90 divided by 0.62. And then using a calculator and rounding to the nearest whole kilometer per hour, it's 145 kilometers per hour, which is quite fast, but 90 miles an hour is pretty fast. Okay, in our next problem, we're going to convert 12,000 inches to miles. And given 1 foot is 12 inches, which we all know, and 50 to 80 feet equals 1 mile, which a lot of you already know that as well, maybe not, but now you know. So we start with our 12,000 inches over 1. Now in this problem, we're going to have to do this in 2 steps. We're going to have to turn inches into feet. So that means we have inches in the denominator, 12 inches, 1 foot in the numerator. If we stop there, we have an answer that's in feet. But we don't want feet, we want miles. So then we have one more conversion factor. We need feet in the denominator, 5280 feet per 1 mile in the numerator. And here the feet units cancel. So now we multiply the fractions and we're left with miles as our units. So we have 12,000 times 1 over 1 times 12 times 5280 miles. And when we do those calculations, we end up with 0.189. We'll just round it to 3 places miles. And in the problems in the homework, if I don't specify how to round it, however you round it, I'll mark it correct. So don't worry about that. Okay, and I'm going to include one review problem, just because it is part of the homework in number 10, somewhat like number 10. See if you can do this one. Pause the tape and see if you can do this. 1/3 minus 3/4 quantity squared. Give the answer as a fraction. So make sure we're keeping our fraction skills here. So the first thing you do is square that 3/4. 3/4 times 3/4 is 9/16. Now you have 1/3 minus 9/16. To subtract fractions, you need a common denominator. In this case, 3 and 16 don't share any common factors, so you know automatically the product 3 times 16 equals 48 is the least common denominator. So we write 1/3 is 48ths by multiplying by 16 and 16, and 9/16 we multiply by 3 and by 3. So we get 16 48ths minus 27 48ths, and we can then combine those. 16 minus 27 is negative 11 48ths. So hopefully you're keeping these fraction skills, and we'll just keep reviewing those throughout the course. So that'll be it for this review video, and I'll be doing another one on 1.5 after this. I'm just doing them as separate videos this time. So see you in class.